understand that scrutiny, but it can just give credence to your work because you were scrutinized. People might have put you down. And then you also talked about they don't mentally strong people don't resent others' success. So that's like a perfect example of like, I'm not saying they were hating on you because Psychology Day, I respect that. I definitely have read articles from there throughout my career. And it's like, from a person, maybe not Psychology Day, but in general, did you experience of that from your circle or people, maybe not your friends, but adjacent to you and other maybe colleagues when you started getting traction?
Yeah, so my friends and my family, everybody has been super supportive and then of me throughout the journey, but like other self-help authors sometimes aren't always the kindest people. And it's amazing
Go
because
figure.
right, I know it's oh, now that I have the inside scoop on what some of this is like, but like I had one who wrote a letter that was not very kind, and it's sort of like the person who talks about kindness. Or I had somebody that publicly said some fairly mean things, and it's somebody who writes about bullying, right? and and
I don't mean to laugh, but that's crazy. Like it's counterproductive to what they're pushing, but there they are writing you.
Right. And so, yeah, I certainly had to deal. Not everybody was happy with it. And, obviously when you put stuff out there, you'll get reviews, comments, things from people that don't necessarily appreciate what you're doing. And then on the other hand, it's also tempting sometimes to look around and think, well, how come this person sold 20 million books? And how come this person, their advice is really, really popular, even though maybe I don't think it's all that sound when it comes to mental health advice yet. It has way more views than my stuff does. How come? So there is that tendency. And I think in today's world where it's so easy to see how somebody else's business is doing, how much traffic their website gets, how many followers they have on social media,
Mhm.
we can easily get bogged down into comparing ourselves to how we think other people are doing.
Well, from my perspective, as someone who's in the psychology field, but also has read your work, I personally look at anything in these categories, whether it's your work, like I said, I read Carol Dweck, there's Anders Ericsson, I read his stuff with peak performance and deliberate practice. I personally look for the ones like yourself or them who have some kind of educational background. It doesn't necessarily have to be PhD or 200 pages of research, but they have that foundation because I respect that more because I know you still have a spin on it because you told your story, but you still integrated the literature, the work from the empirical evidence on top of that versus some self-help authors I personally don't really get into because of the opposite. I'm fine with telling great. I'm not saying I wouldn't read it, but I just hold it to a different standard. So I can maybe see why I don't know who they were, but if they didn't have that background, I could kind of see why because now they might be taking offense to it, even though you didn't do anything because oh wow, she's coming from this angle, and we don't have that kind of thing.
Yes, I agree